I would expect you to be happier to see us.
Us?
So slow.
Released 4 years after the brilliant and groundbreaking Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5 was the franchise's second entry into the 7th generation of consoles, after the Wii rail shooter Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles, and obviously the 5th installment in the mainline run of games. The story follows Chris Redfield on a new mission that takes him into South Africa, where he encounters a new horror and relives an old past which he must overcome with the help of his new partner Sheva. It is abundantly clear that the shifting console generations swept up the Resident Evil franchise in its grey-brown militaristic cover shooter obsessed horror downgrade. Make no mistake, the blockbuster plot and overly extravagant bonkers nature of the presentation carries over from Resident Evil 4, but the unique vision, style, location settings, and basically overall fun and entertaining characters unfortunately do falter here. Though the game is 11 years old this year, I won't spoil any significant plot points for those that haven't played it yet, or like me are currently going through the franchise installments that they have not yet played themselves. The main plot motivation is to stop Wesker from attempting to destroy the world, because of course he is. Wesker's motivations are incredibly one-note and generic, and he ticks off every dialogue cliché in the book throughout the runtime of the game. A vague yet predictable mystery hovers over one particular side antagonist, but the reveal and ultimatum unfortunately has no real substantial emotional impact on the player, as it is incredibly predictable from one cutscene who it actually is. Like in the previous entries, there are documents and computers that you can access to build the world, but honestly they are pages long at times and not particularly interesting. The thick immersive atmosphere of the previous entry is completely lost here. Though the African setting makes for a unique variety of locations for the franchise, there is nothing visually standout or very memorable about the locations, and with the lack of smaller enemy visual variety, the merchant, and the blending of different cultural and historical influences on the levels, the atmosphere falls to the wayside. The thick brown and greys of the various labs, boats, towns, power plants, and utterly sum up this particular era in gaming, where Gears of War, Call of Duty, and countless others delivered a grounded and gritty approach to their visual style. This to me personally doesn't feel like the Resident Evil franchise, but it clearly matches the action-heavy approach that this particular title took. That's not to say the game looks all bad. Playing the HD PS4 port has allowed the graphics to age well, and the facial animations, effects and cutscenes are by far the best of the franchise at the time. There are some notable locations throughout. The final boss encounter takes place on a lava-spewing volcano, there is a solid Tomb Raider Uncharted style tomb section, and the far-removed African jungle and Lake Island sequences provide an engaging switch-up. The elephant in the room in terms of gameplay, and arguably one of the main selling points to some players, is the introduction of a co-op system and item managing for your partner Sheva. Now, I played this game completely solo, and at times the game is undeniably frustrating due to Sheva's AI actions. Whether she's not switching to weapons after running out of ammo on her equipped weapon, using healing items too soon, or simply just getting in the way or frequently getting downed, there is guaranteed annoyance to be had. However, on the flip side, she can be genuinely helpful. Item distribution and exchanging is handy, though the menu and inventory system is not. There were never any times where I was in need of reviving or support and she was in the vicinity and didn't help. The co-op system also allows for large-scale puzzles and some genuinely tense gameplay encounters, as you have to watch out for Sheva as well as yourself. The gunplay, movement, healing, etc. haven't been altered at all since Resident Evil 4 in a if it ain't broke don't fix it attitude. There are some brilliant boss encounters here, though they all mostly boil down to shoot the weak point after exposing it. The part human, part squid hybrid of the Irving boat battle and the giant spider clash are my personal highlights. There are a few that fall into the bullet sponge territory and border on being infuriating. I'm looking at you, Ouroboros Makono. But overall, they may not always be visually compelling, but they do offer satisfying clashes. The quick-time events are excessive at some points, with whole chase sequences being based around them. However, they do add to the goofiness and over-the-top nature the franchise boasts. For example, Chris Redfield punching a boulder, and the rocket launcher finale immediately springing to mind. Chris Redfield lacks all the dry humour, cockiness and charm of Leon, and instead you get a bog-standard military dude protagonist. This isn't bad per se, and the voice acting is solid. You do understand his dedication to the mission, and the final clash with Wesker does see him deliver some fitting comments and insults. This unfortunately is the same with Sheva. Sure, she's cool and badass and the voice acting strong, But that's it, there's nothing substantial to her character, though she and Chris do have good chemistry. Wesker's motivations and dialogue are utterly eye-rolling, but the gloriously snooty and comical evil narcissism of the line delivery by DC Douglas is certainly the highlight. Side antagonists Irving and Excella are fine, as is the mystery character, though the reveal's impact is nowhere to be found. This may sound like quite an overly negative review, but I did enjoy my time with Resident Evil 5 for the majority of its playtime. The gunplay, the over-the-top action beats, and entertaining and at times undeniably epic boss encounters are enough to warrant a recommendation alone. Though the story motivations and overarching plot elements are very familiar, and the game sorely lacks the atmosphere and variety provided in Resident Evil 4. Personally, I would have much rather the zero focus on the co-op, as I think that's the only way you can truly be immersed in a story, as well as the co-op bringing in a myriad of AI annoyances and a clunky inventory system. The game is a solid 10 to 12 hours of fun, but a significant step down from what came before. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you've played Resident Evil 5 or what your favourite Resident Evil game is. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you again soon.